Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Jeremy back with another top films video, and I make one of these about once a year, so I'm super excited to show you my favorite movies of this year, plus a couple of surprise videos that I saw throughout this year that didn't actually come out this year, but I just wanted to share them with you. So let's jump right into the video. So there were a lot of great movies that came out this year. I couldn't possibly name all the ones that I saw. I think I saw maybe like 50 movies this year in theaters. And there were a lot of really great ones that I'll try to give a shout out to at the end of this video. But I just want to call out the ones that I specifically liked. So let's get into it. So the first movie that I saw in theaters, believe it or not, this year is David Fincher's Seven. And if you haven't seen this movie before, it's a classic. It actually came out in 1995. But of course, you got Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and man, it's creepy. You got Kevin Spacey as the bad guy. Spoiler alert. But seeing this in IMAX at 4K resolution was really something special. And they just released a 4K rendition of this movie, so check it out. It's been what is it? 30 years? Yeah, 30 years since Seven came out. So definitely recommend it. It's definitely more of a gritty crime movie, if that's what you're into. But it's fantastic. Okay, the other non-2025 movie that I saw this year is by Wim Wenders, and this movie is called Paris, Texas. So this has been a movie that's been on my list after hearing it recommended in so many different directors and actors' favorite movies of all time list, and I gotta say, it is a fantastic movie. The colors and the landscapes and the cinematography in Paris, Texas are really unlike anything you'll see in movies today. And also just the subtle nature in which Wim Wenders tells the story, I think is something that we don't have anymore. We don't have the attention span to appreciate this kind of movie. But if you are interested in one of these slice of life movies where really not a lot happens until you peel back the layers, Paris, Texas is a fantastic watch. I strongly recommend it. And now let's get into my top 10 of this year. So at number 10, this is Benny Safdie's first solo movie after the breakup or separation between Benny Safdie and his brother Josh. But The Smashing Machine is clearly a passion project for Benny Safdie, who wanted to tell this story about a wrestler or a boxer, mixed martial arts boxer named Mark Kerr. And we follow him through his successes and his downfall when it comes to drug addiction and things like that. And I just love Benny Safdie. I think he makes really compelling character stories. And this one's no different. Also featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in, I think this is his first like serious movie. And hopefully more. Although I will say like this is kind of only a role that Dwayne Johnson could play as like an MMA fighter or a boxer. And I thought he did fantastic, as well as Emily Blunt. The movie was, yes, it's not going to be that uncut gems, fast-paced, yelling, everyone's yelling and screaming, and there's 1,000 things happening at once, but it's a really, really heartfelt and real movie about Mark Kerr. Okay, so the next film I want to talk about is called Begonia. This is Yorgos Lanthimos', I think it's his 5th film, if I'm not mistaken. But in my opinion, this is his return to form. after we had The Favorite and Past Lives, not Past Lives, Poor Things by Yorgos Lanthimos, there was this departure from, I would say, his more odd characters. That's not to say those films didn't have odd characters, but them put into these odd situations. Of course, Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons were in Kinds of Kindness that came out last year, and I love that movie, but this is the film that Yorgos Lanthimos was born to make. And it really is one that's worth seeing if you're into that like weird, like, is it real or is it not? So Jesse Plemons basically thinks that Emma Stone's character, she's this like corporate ladder climbing CEO of a company. He thinks that she's an alien, and he kidnaps her, and he's like, you need to prove to me that you are an alien. We want to talk to your mothership. And she's like, what the heck? But it just goes off the rails from there. And if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, well, then you have to check out Begonia. It's a wild ride. It's one of Yorgos Lanthimos's, if not his best movie. It's up there with Killing of a Sacred Deer. And I just thought it was fantastic. Okay, this may bother some of you watching the video, that this is the next film in the list. What are we at now? 8? Yeah, 10, 9, 8. But One Battle After Another by Paul Thomas Anderson, PTA, as some call him, was my number 8 film of the year. Now, One Battle After Another is a fantastic movie, and it does so many things well. Johnny Greenwood, of course, doing the score. PTA doing everything that he does when it comes to telling a compelling story and just making it a fantastic cinematic experience. And I would have ranked this higher, but I just feel like there were some better movies. But that's not to say that this is a bad movie, by no means. I mean, the road sequence at the end of One Battle After Another, I physically remember sitting up higher in my chair in the theaters and just feeling that rush that you sometimes feel in one of these like revenge movies. And man, it delivers. It delivers. It's too bad that this is not in theaters anymore, because seeing it in IMAX was amazing. All right, the next one, and this was also one of the most recent movies that I saw this year. The other Safdie brother released a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie, but it came out on Christmas, called Marty Supreme. And this is a movie, it's a ping pong movie. Marty Mauser, that's the character. He's this amazing ping pong player, and he's competing in the world championships against a Japanese ping pong player. But it's more than that, right? We're seeing all the flaws in his character, which there are a lot. And we're seeing this wild goose chase of a movie where he goes from Manhattan to Japan to the countryside of New Jersey just to find a way to succeed. And there's some really great sequences of this movie with Tyler, the Creator, and Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is in this movie. I didn't know he was an actor, but apparently he is. And the music in this movie alone is worth the price of admission. There's a band called 10 Point Never, who I've been following for a while now. They did the soundtrack for Uncut Gems, and now they did it for Marty Supreme. And the music in this movie is just so good. And I think that's what put it this high on the list for me. The music is fantastic. Of course, Timothée Chalamet is also very good. Actually, I think it is one of his best roles, maybe since Dune. And Call Me By Your Name was also one of his better performances, but this is up there. And if you want to see some big name actors in a fast-paced, loud, anxiety-inducing movie, Marty Supreme is the right movie for you. I wouldn't say it's a Christmas movie. Again, it's not going to be family friendly, but if your family is into arguing and seeing a bathtub fall out of a apartment building or a hotel, you're going to love this one. All right, the next one, Weapons. Of course, everybody has been talking about Weapons. The second film from Zach Cregger, starring this cast. Apparently, this cast almost didn't happen. And we almost didn't get Julia Garner and Josh Brolin in a film together. And man, Julia Garner and Josh Brolin are the best parts of this movie, other than, of course, the writing and the creepy imagery. But they, in my opinion, are the reason the film is so good. So Weapons is effectively the story of a bunch of kids from a classroom in this small town go missing. They all run out of their homes at 2 a.m, and they got their arms like spread, kind of like they're Naruto running, and they just run away, and no one can find them. And of course, Julia Garner's character, the teacher in the classroom, is to blame. But what happens through the course of this movie, it's both a mystery, it's a whodunit, it's also a horror movie. Because there are some supernatural elements in Weapons that, to me, take it over the top and make it not just a horror movie, not just a crime movie. It's really like, if there was a movie made for me, Weapons is it. And Zach Cregger, he's come a long way from making Barbarian to this one. And a lot of people don't know, but he was actually in The Whitest Kids You Know, which is a hilarious comedy group from a long time ago. But he has the sauce, if you will. And Zach Cregger, I'm going to see whatever you put to film in the future. Great movie, Weapons. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is Steven Soderbergh. Nobody's ever heard of him, right? Steven Soderbergh, one of the biggest names in filmmaking. He has done it all. He's made these like really small movies. One that I can think of is called Side Effects. And he's done it again with Black Bag. Black Bag is the story of two British spies. They effectively work for the British CIA. I don't know what you call that, but I think it's like MI6 or something. I could be getting that totally wrong, but they basically are two people working for the British CIA. And Michael Fassbender, who's fantastic in this movie, gets a tip from one of his associates that there is a treasonous person that is in his work circle. It could be his wife. It could be his colleagues. He doesn't know. And the rest of the film unfolds that way. He's trying to find out who is the mole. And it's a very simple story, but the way it's executed, it's a tight 90 minutes, actually 94 minutes. So one of the shorter movies that you'll see this year, but it really is effective. And Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, and also a surprise appearance from Pierce Brosnan. Everybody in this movie is great, but the best character is the camera. And Steven Soderbergh did an excellent job directing this movie. I highly recommend it. All right, we're getting right down to it. I think this is the last 4 movies on my list. We have the Philippou brothers, I think that's how you pronounce it, with Bring Her Back. This is the follow-up to the Philippou brothers' earlier movie, Talk to Me. Remember the hand, where you hold the hand and you go into the afterlife and you see everyone that's there? Well, Bring Her Back is not really a sequel to that movie, but it's a spiritual sequel to Talk to Me. Basically, what happens in Bring Her Back is this brother and sister's father passes away, and then they have to go live with a foster mother played by Sally Hawkins. Remember Sally Hawkins from Paddington and all those films where she's just like a friendly, motherly figure? Not this movie. Sally Hawkins is terrifying in Bring Her Back. And everybody else is good in the movie, but Sally Hawkins is the reason you need to see this movie. She knocks it out of the park, and you will never look at her the same way again. But the way the Philippou brothers direct Bring Her Back, it's almost like they're trying to personify grief. With the music and with the characters, it's this hyperbolistic way of depicting grief in the most extreme way that I really never seen depicted on film before. And I think it says a lot of unique things about how we process death and how we sort of carry on after the loss of our loved ones. So Bring Her Back, so good. And it's a horror movie. I mean, I'm sure you can tell from how the film sounds and what it looks like on screen. It has some gruesome scenes, so do not mistake me when I say it's a horror movie, and it is terrifying. But if you're into that kind of thing, check out Bring Her Back. All right, top 3. And this one surprised me, but not that much, because Kosinski, who made the Top Gun Maverick film, also came out with F1, which I just happened to see on my birthday this year in a theater in Chicago. Man, if you want to talk about escape, F1 is Top Gun, but in F1, and that rhymes, so you know it's true. We got Brad Pitt. He is a retired F1 driver, but he's going to come back for one more race. And it sounds cliche. Of course, we all know what's going to happen. But trust me, you've never felt the pure adrenaline that you feel in F1. And it is awesome to see in theaters. I don't know if it would hit the same way. I know it's on Apple TV now. It's still really worth watching. But if there is a showing at a theater in loud surround sound, or I know they had it in 4DX this year, that would be even better. F1, it's just a good time. And I would even say it's family friendly. It's not too dissimilar to Top Gun Maverick, where it's just this like pure Americana film of the good guys versus the bad guys. And Brad Pitt is an all-American actor. I really think this one is a lot of fun to put on with the whole family and just, get excited about movies again. All right, number 2, and now we're getting down to my personal taste with Ari Aster's Eddington. Now, if you saw this movie and you didn't like it, I would guess you're in the majority of people who saw this movie and didn't like it. It's a polarizing movie. It's a weird movie. What would you expect? Ari Aster is making a movie about 2020 and the things that happened in 2020. And yes, there's everything from COVID to George Floyd to the black squares to the masks in the grocery store to wiping your grocery bags when you get home. It's a odd watch, especially if you lived through that experience, and you might have some trauma from COVID, and we're all still feeling the ramifications of that. But Eddington is maybe the most accurate film that depicts that time, but it's also a Western. Right? We have this sheriff versus a mayor in this small town in Arizona called Eddington. And we have the classic Ari Aster weirdness, like just how all these characters come together. And then something happens in the middle of the film. And I'm not going to spoil it, but you know what it is if you've seen it, where past that point, it just goes off the rails. And much like Weapons, These are my favorite types of movies where you just don't know where it's going to go until it's over. Now, my one complaint about Eddington is probably like the last 10 minutes of the movie. I thought it wasn't necessary, but of course, Ari Aster has a lot of things he wants to say in his movies, and I'm not going to fault him for it. Eddington was a really, really fun movie. It's weird. Don't watch it thinking it's going to be fun like F1. It's fun in the weird, what is going on type way. And if that's not your jam, okay, don't watch it. But if you're into seeing Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal duke it out, and oh yeah, Emma Stone's in this movie. She's not really in the movie though. I would say she's in it for maybe like 10 minutes of screen time, but it's really Joaquin Phoenix's movie, and Ari Aster is doing what he does best, which is make you scratch your head, make you furrow your eyebrows, and you got to see Eddington if that sounds good to you. And now we're ready for number one. Any guesses as to what it is? So my number one film is the tag team of Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza's Warfare. And I saw this pretty early in the year this year, and it kind of was it my number one when I saw it, and it stayed there ever since. So Warfare is a non-cinematic film. It is a real-time, real-life depiction of these soldiers in, I think they're in Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere like that, and they are having a real-time infiltration of their safe house. Basically, like they are hanging out in this house and they're surveying the Iraqis that are living in the surrounding area. This was around, the Middle Eastern war that most recently happened. And it's just the most realistic depiction that I've personally seen of war, maybe since Jarhead. I don't know. I've heard these war films are not realistic whatsoever, but it felt that way to me, so much so that I looked at my smartwatch in the middle of this film and it was at 100 BPM. And it is intense. Again, this film has one of those middle sequences where nothing really happens beforehand, but when that thing happens, the film just devolves into this craziness, and I actually felt physically sick to this movie. And you would think, Jeremy, why would you recommend your number one movie made you physically sick? Well, I don't know. Maybe that says something about me, but Alex Garland, you made a fantastic film with Warfare. And if you're into real life battles and seeing this on the loudest speaker system you can, and feeling every gunshot and every bomb that goes off, Warfare is a thrill ride. And I mean that in the most serious way, because I know this is not like a fun-filled, family-friendly adventure. But Warfare was, it was really worth seeing. And if they ever release this in IMAX again, worth checking out. I highly recommend it. So that is my top films of 2025. A couple small films that I want to give a shout out to. Last Breath. And this was with Woody Harrelson. I saw this pretty early in the year, but it kind of surprised me how much I enjoyed this one. It's heart pumping. It's a real story, a true story about this guy who gets stuck like 1,000 feet below the water. And you got to see that one if that sounds interesting to you. It's really, really good. I put some others on this list. You can take a look at the screen. And of course, and I'm saying this sarcastically, do not take it seriously, but War of the Worlds, man, what a movie, am I right? You got to see this one too, especially if you love Amazon Prime and you love Ice Cube. I just had a blast watching this movie. It's fun to watch with your friends, and just like make fun of it. But I don't know who signed off, who paid for this movie. And apparently if you watch the interviews with the director, they were completely sincere when making this one, but it's hard to watch it and not be reminded of The Room or Troll 2. Like, it's that level of bad. So bad it's good. So if you're looking for like a fun time with your friends watching a movie, War of the Worlds, it's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. It's hilarious. All right, so that is going to do it for my top films of 2025. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next year. Hopefully I'll make other videos. Let's see. But if nothing else, you got this one. So have a happy new year, and we'll see you real soon.